Hello everyone from Adventure and Tech Runs. I hope you guys are doing okay. So today we'll be doing the review of the Z Fold 6, and this device has been with me since around more than 5 months since its launch, and I've been using this device as my primary device since then, and I've been loving this device altogether. Like, I didn't find any issue with this device except the camera, and we'll just talk about other things like once we will be just going throughout this phone review, and this will be in-depth review of this one, and a little bit long-term, or you can say a review, midlife review of this device, because it's going to be 6 months soon since its launch. So yeah, so first we'll just quickly go ahead with the specs of this phone. So this phone being launched on in July 2024, and unfolded dimensions of this one is 153.5 into 132.6 by 5.6 millimeter in thickness, and the folded dimension of this one is the same 153.5 in length, 68.1 and 12.1 millimeter of thickness. We get to see the weight on this one is 239 grams, which is almost as similar as the S24 Ultra, and I mean, I don't find this much to be that much heavy in my pocket. It feels like same almost as like it used to feel like with the S24 Ultra. We have the glass front, which is Gorilla Glass Victus 2 folded, and we have the plastic front unfolded in the inner screen. And the glass at the back is also the Gorilla Glass Victus 2, and it has the aluminum frame. Hopefully we can see the titanium frame in the future iterations. So it has the IP48 water resistance up to 1.5 meter for 30 minutes, and I mean, Samsung says like it has the enhanced arm aluminum frame with tougher drop and scratch resistance, like they have advertised this one as like that, but I don't find like much difference when I compare it to the Z Fold 5. And the inner screen is stylus support, and if we talk about the resolution, so it has the 1856 by 2160 pixels, which is around like 374 ppi. And if we talk about the cover display, so it has the dynamic LTPO AMOLED 2 times 120 hertz and 2600 nits of peak brightness, with 6.3 inches, 968 by 2376 pixels, and makes it like total of 410 ppi, which is quite decent in when it comes to the front screen. It is supported like up to Android 14, and there will be around some updates coming up till 7 years as promised by the Samsung. And it has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip, and with the Adreno 750 GPU. And the memory options that comes in it are the 256, 512 gig and 1 terabyte of memory storage, with RAM up to and the RAM is like a standard for all of the models, which is 12 gigabytes. So if we talk about the camera, so at the back we have the triple camera lens setup, so 50 megapixel wide and the 10 megapixel telephoto lens with 3 times optical zoom and 12 megapixel ultra wide lens. It has also the HDR and panorama and the LED flash, and the video capabilities of this one is 8K at 30 FPS and 4K at 60 FPS and 1080 at 60, 120 and 240 FPS, and 720 at 960 FPS. So the inner screen camera on this one is the 4 megapixel, which is an under display camera, and then the front one is the 10 megapixel selfie camera. Yeah, so if we talk about the speakers, so of course it supports the stereo speakers are pretty nice on this one, and being tuned by the AKG, and it has the 4400 mAh battery, which is quite controversial like once we talk about this one. We'll talk about later in this video. It has the 25 watts wired charging, 15 watt wireless charging, and 4.5 watts of reverse wireless charging. The colors we have the navy, silver, shadow, pink, black and white. And yeah, that's pretty much it with the specs of this phone. So we'll now talk about the design language of this phone. So it has been very well designed phone, and I'm really loving it, the slab factor on this one. Like I really like these corners. It's just sweet enough, like it don't digs into your palms like the S24 Ultra, and it's very comfortable to hold this phone, and this added thickness gives it really very much grip to hold this phone. And if you're just going and looking for the color, which is this crafted black, so you will just get an additional grip at the back and a textured feel you can feel on it, and it feels really nice. So when you're just holding in the hand, and it doesn't feel like it's going to slip from your hands. So if we talk about on the side, so we have one power button which has the integrated fingerprint scanner, and we have the volume up and down, we have the SIM card tray, and we have one antenna band. If we come on the front, so we have the speaker, some mics, noise cancellation mics. On the bottom we have the Type-C port, we have the mic, and we have one more speaker. And on the side we have a beautiful hinge which is very strong enough. I didn't had any trouble with this hinge. And yeah, and on the back there's a beautiful texture over here, as already mentioned, and we have the triple camera setup. So yeah, let's talk about the durability of this device, which is like I've been using this device since around more than a little over 5 months, and like I've dropped this device around like many times, and the hinge is perfectly fine. And obviously I was just wearing the case on this one. Without case, obviously it wouldn't hold that good. But yeah, even with the case, like most of the people will be running the case on this one, and I would just recommend using the case on this one because this is a fragile device. But like if you're using like any sort of case which has the hinge protection as well, so you will just make this device life much more enhanced. So one thing I'm just noticing regarding the paint on this one, like it's a little bit just started to peel. Like I'm not sure if you guys can see over here, like here there's one dot, and like there is some issue. Like initially I just been reading about like there has been some issue with the paint peeling on the Z Fold 6. So this is somewhat just I'm noticing, and I'm not sure like how this will just hold up in the long term. But however, it's performing really well. Like there hasn't been any major issue regarding the paint peel. This like just a minor contact point for the hinge cover that led to this one, and this has been a known issue with the aluminum frame, that it just does that thing. Yeah, it's not that heavy, as I already mentioned. Like it has been great once you're just holding this phone, and very grippy. Talk about the screen. So the front screen, like it's really good for like using the one-handed use. Like you can see my finger just go beyond this screen, which is you can say like I have a small hands, and I'm really enjoying this device. Like once you're using like one-handed, sometimes I feel like it's a little bit narrower, but not to the point like that you feel annoyed regarding this screen. Like it's nevertheless been a great screen, and it's kind of a candy bar style phone. Obviously in the future iteration I would just recommend to just if the Samsung could increase the front screen size to around 6.5 inches or a little bit more. Besides that, the display has been really good in the sunlight. I didn't have any issues. But yeah, one thing I would just recommend just to Samsung to include the anti-glare or anti-reflective coating that the S24 Ultra has to be introduced to the future iterations of the Z Fold lineup. So that would be really great. I missed that thing after using the S24 Ultra. Like you can see, like there is lots of reflection on this. So once you're just using it in the sunlight, or maybe if you are just using this one in a brighter lighting conditions. Multitasking capabilities, if you talk about on this one, so like it's insane. Like the software on this phone, like I must say, like is the only reason that I've been using this phone is the software capabilities of this one. Like it's the multitasking on this one is like awesome. I don't think so there's anything much needed in terms of this one. Like you can just open, like if you talk about the inner screen, so you can just open multiple apps. Like you can maybe open files, you can just drag it like this. You can open another app, which is like maybe you can open Samsung Shop app over here, and then you can just drop another app over here. Maybe you can just drop this one. And yeah, you can just do like this, and like you can just open as many apps as you want to open, and like you can just open 3 apps simultaneously, and as much as pop-up windows you want to throw at it, and it will just open, and you can just keep working. You might be like what I used to do, like I'm just on a video call over here and I'm just noting down notes over here, or maybe you're on a video call on this half of the page, and you can just utilize this page as being the messaging or WhatsApp messaging, and here you can just maybe use calculator. You can open the window as well if you need. You can open as much windows as you want to just open, and the like multitasking capabilities, like I'm loving this device regarding this one. And obviously you get best of the both worlds, like it's a slab phone on the front, and there is like a complete mini tablet inside of it, which is, I'm really loving it. Like there are a couple of options. It has a flex mode. So let's say, for example, if you're using a YouTube and you opens any of your videos and you're just watching, you can make it full screen, and you can make it a flex mode like this. And here it is, all of the controls. You can have it over here, and you can just watch video. Like it's like a mini laptop, you can say. You can have the keyboard over here, and you can just type it in front of you, so it becomes like a mini laptop, you can say. And it's a really good feature and very helpful once it comes to usage. If you talk about the hinge, so hinge is very strong on this device. I never had a trouble with it. It still holds after 5 months really great. You can see it's very strong. You need to put a little pressure on it. There's no creaks on it, no nothing. There's no dust going inside issue with it. However, I'm just using the case with the hinge protection, or you can say cover, which might be helpful in terms of increasing the life of this hinge. If you talk about the battery life on this one, so battery life almost lasts me a whole day. I never had a trouble with it. I just put this one on charge overnight, and I just take out from the charger like in the morning, and this gives me like around full day of usage. And the one thing I've done very good thing on this one, that I'm using on a light performance. As you can see, I'm not using the standard performance, and I didn't find any kind of difference while using the phone. Maybe if you guys are playing a game so that might be the reason that you might want to use the standard. But even with the games, I didn't find light profile to be of any issue. And one thing that I would like to mention, one more thing about the battery, like if we talk about the front screen, so most of the people will be like in my case, like I'm using most of the time front screen, so 4400 mAh battery doesn't feel like less. Like obviously if you're using the inner screen, so there will be much more battery consumption, and the 4400 mAh battery wouldn't be enough if you're using all of the time the inner screen. However, if you're using the front screen most of the time, which is like in my case, I occasionally open the inner screen, so this performs really well. But nevertheless, like the main purpose of this device is the inner screen, which attracts most of the people, and which is the market that Samsung is trying to capturing for this one. So I must say, like, Samsung should increase battery life in the future. So even with, if you're using the front screen, so it will just last a little bit longer than a whole day, and that would be really much helpful because it's always been great to have that extra juice at the end of the day. So because like in some days are busier and some are not, so yeah, so you might end up like finishing up your battery at the end of the day. So like little bit juice would be really much appreciated if Samsung would include. Generally speaking, it's been a great battery, but yeah, it needs to be upgraded. Like it's been used the same battery since I think Galaxy Z Fold 4, and yeah, it needs to be improved. Now I want to talk about some bad things that I don't like about this phone. Is the camera setup on this one. Like the camera are like almost a mid-range phone. It's good, it's not that great in terms of, it has to be great at this price point, what my point is exactly. So like I just got this phone because of the software. If I had want to get this phone just for the camera, so it will be in no list for me, considering the price point at which it is being sold. Even with the deals, like it's an expensive phone, to be honest, as an average user. So Yeah, so camera needs to be improved on this phone. Like even the wide lens, the ultra wide camera lens is absolutely, you can say, trash. It's not usable on this phone. Main lens, yeah, it's comparable to the mid-range phone, and the telephoto lens, it's just okay. Like it's not that great. It's just a mid-range to low-range kind of stuff you get on this phone. I don't know why Samsung is not upgrading the camera. Like I'm not using this phone just for the camera. I have the other phone to just take the pictures and make the video out of it. I'm not using this one at all for the camera. Yeah. And obviously I would to once I'm just talking about the inner screen, so I would just like to talk about the crease. Like I don't know, some people are saying like the crease has been improved. I've used the Z Fold 6. I don't find any sort of difference like between the Z Fold 6 and the Z Fold 5 crease. Like it's very, very noticeable once you're just watching, and you cannot just let it go. This thing, like it bothers me a lot. Like I don't like this crease at all, because it's the 6th iteration, so I would assume like this has to be reduced at some point. I don't find that it has been reduced at any point. You can see like in the reflection, like you can see a lot of crease while you use the phone. Even if I open the phone, you'll notice the crease. Here it is, like, so it shows under light. Might be the case if the Samsung would use the anti-reflective coating inside of it in the future iterations, so that might help in terms of the crease not showing that much. So I would like to talk about the inside screen camera, and this camera is not usable for the selfie purposes. You might want to use it just as a video conferencing. Even then it's not that great. Like it's really, really poor quality in terms of the lens capabilities. Like the video is really blurry and like kind of a trash. I didn't like that one at all. It's not usable unless you just want to just do a casual video calling, and that's it. You can use it for that purpose, and that's what I'm using. Like for the casual video conferencing, you can just open the video conferencing app or you can say WhatsApp on half of the screen, and the other on the other page you can use it for some other purpose. Only then like I'm finding this one to be useful. This has to be improved like in the future iterations. It's a non-usable kind of stuff. Like at this price point, I wouldn't recommend to just I wouldn't like at this price point I wouldn't settle for this camera, the inner screen camera. It has to be improved. And the fast charging you can talk about. So I'm not sure why Samsung didn't give this one 45 watts wired charging. Like it still is coming with the 25 watts wired charging. I'm exactly not sure why Samsung is cutting corners on these things. Like the 45 watt charging, it's like kind of a standard. It's not that much, and it has already been on the S24 Ultra, which launched around 6 or 7 months before of this device, and I'm not sure this has been launched after that, and Samsung didn't opt for the 45 watt charging. The charging of this one is pretty slow. Since you're just getting the mere 25 watt charging, it's not that slow. If you're just I'm just putting this one overnight to charge, and that's the only option like I have, because again I don't get the chance to charge my device during the day, and 25 watts is very, very slow to charge the device during the day. And there has been just a 15 watt wireless charging. It should be improved, that one too, in the future iteration. That would be my recommendations. The last thing that I've noticed when buying this device, like it still is very, very hard to find a good case for this device. Like either you're just getting too bulky, or there are cases which are like without the hinge cover. The inner screen on this one, the one more thing I would like to talk about the inner screen is that it's very, very fragile. There has to be something Samsung needs to do, like to make this screen a little bit stronger. Like if I just do it like a nail, using this one with little pressure, so it leaves a mark on this one, which is like a permanent mark. And the Samsung itself has mentioned, like once you just setting up this device, they mentioned like you have to be really careful while using the sharp objects on the inner screen. There has to be done something on this one. I'm not using the pen on this device, the S Pen, So you can just notice my screen looks pretty clear on this one, but if you're using a pen and if you press it a bit tighter on this one, so your screen might get damaged, or at least there would be a mark on this one which will be permanent. So I don't think so the pressure sensitive S Pen will be helpful on this screen, because if you're just putting pressure, so you might just end up a permanent scratch on the screen. Last thing, there should be inbuilt S Pen on this device, and I'm not sure, like, once the Samsung has given the inner screen compatibility of the S Pen, why they didn't opt it for the front screen, which is, I'm not sure, because most of the time I'm using my front screen, and sometimes I want to just note down the quick notes, and obviously you cannot do by hand on this narrower design. So if this would be S Pen like the S24 Ultra, so that would be really helpful in terms of the enhance the user experience of this device. And one more thing, yeah, so without case, like if you're using this device, so I'm going to show you guys one thing. Like, obviously it's not usable once it's open. Like, it just be too much probably to use this phone unless you're using a case. And if you open the front screen, so even the front screen, like if you're just it's not that much stable, like if you're just lying that down on the flat surface. But here you can see you can just type a little bit on this corner, but if you're coming towards this corner, so it is wobbly. That's the thing, it is in it. So you might want to get a case with this device. And like, it's this issue, like, it's been common with most of the devices nowadays. If you pick, except like I think the Google Pixel lineup doesn't have this issue, but yeah, most of the cases we have this issue over here. So yeah, that's all for today. I hope you guys like the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. That will be really helpful. If you guys have any sort of question, you can just ask me down in the comments section, and I will just try to reply those. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and you like the video, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.